What's going on, everyone? Forex Fargo checking in, back with our Forex Fargo weekly webinar. This date is going to be from March 14th, 2021, all the way through March 19th, 2021. The usual pairs, we're going to do the dollar index, Euro USD, AU, GBP, Gbp USD, Gbp JPY, and then UCAD, right? So apologies for that, but let's go ahead and just dive into it, right? So as you guys can see right here, once again, just always starting off with the macro time frame. We can see that last week, from I believe it was the 5th or so, we had this nice push up into this beautiful supply zone, which was being held since November of 2020, right? So pretty much this level retested where the elections kind of took off from. So if you guys have been trading, since, Trump lost the elections and everything like that, it's just been a lot of volatility within the market, right? But with that being said, we can see that we had this retest, which happened March 9th. From March 9th, we had a huge push. We actually had a huge retracement, right, back to the downside, where price actually, pushed back down to our on the dollar index 91, 400 level or so. And then from there, you can kind of see that, we've returned to kind of our intraday market structure level, right? Won't get too much into that, but what I would be curious to see happening is kind of see how price reacts to this. We'll go down a little bit more. We'll go down to like right here, right? So I'm curious to see how price would react to this 91,500 level or so. If we are to get, a retracement to this 91,500 level, right? As well as the fact that, if we were to get a bounce, we can see a few things happening this week, right? So I'll go ahead and, once again, just start with what I'm looking at on the dollar index, and then we will go ahead and switch to the other charts. All right, so on AU, right? So AU last week was actually a beauty. I was very quiet last week. I apologize for not doing the webinar, but at the end of the day, sometimes it is good to take a break back, right? So I actually was successful in, flipping this like, $50 account to like $300 or something like that. Just trying to get my confidence back before I go ahead and dive right back into the FTMO challenge, right? So that's why I'm just taking my time. But regardless, right, last week was I think the 8th or something like that, right? So price literally just beautifully broke this level I actually had marked from like 2 weeks ago, right? So felt super comfortable taking this fucking trade. You can see that this is like a W or inverse head and shoulders on whatever time frame you choose to look at. But from here, you actually had straight clean traffic of 140 something pips. Price literally reached the top. This was actually daily support, but this is going to be this is going to turn to our daily resistance level right now around this 77, call it 77 880-ish daily resistance. So I have my level at. Obviously we know the price worked all the way back up to 78 cents, right? But so this is what we kind of see happening. Okay, so a couple things could happen, right? So playing on the strength, praying and playing on the strength that on the fact that we could potentially see some more dollar strength, right? What could potentially happen is that we could see another push back up to this 78 level, right? And then from there, we could see just a slight small retracement, either all the way back down here, to 77 cents. But I don't think it'll be more than that. If we do fall all the way back to 76.5 or something like that, I'll just be looking for buys and following along with price action, right? So this is what I am anticipating on AU. Once again, this could also go another way as well. So if we do push up here and then price, happens to, let's talk about the other scenario, right? So if price happens to find some support when we get here, right, then obviously, look at all this clean traffic just to the left, right? So what I'll do is, this may happen sometime next month, but we have all of this. This is about 200 pips of bearish momentum, clean traffic, no green candles in between. So we probably have the same type of momentum and movement on the similar thing, right? So this is why you should just pay attention, and not pay attention, just always have your charts marked up from previous levels, right? So this is what I'm looking at on AU, right? Let's go ahead and do this with EU. EU is actually a beautiful trade, right? So what I am cautious of, I'm cautious of the fact that if if the dollar index is to, remain with its bullish momentum as we've been seeing, thus throughout March, right? On the contrary, we will see the fact that EU will, kind of fall back again. I will actually have this marked right here at this level. I like this zone. Actually, I'll draw a zone. I like how this looks. How do I put this back? 1 second. Center back. Right, there we go. Right, so I'll be looking to see, I'd be interested in seeing if we can have a short position. Once again, you may get stopped out or whatever, but just follow along with the position and see what happens. So from there, I'm interested in looking at this short position and then potentially catching the long position back up to the upside, right? So, once again, obviously we'll see what the market gives us, but it doesn't kill you and doesn't hurt you, and it's not a detriment to go ahead and plan accordingly and plan ahead, right? So we'll be looking for the retracements early in the week on EU, and then maybe look for the continued buys, or we'll look to see if we'll just look to see and follow along with price action and momentum, right? So this is actually a beautiful trade, right? So you guys can see, didn't change anything. It's a similar trade that I took last week, so why not take it again fucking this week, right? So you guys watched the webinar, from 2 weeks ago. I spoke about GU buys, right, being from this 138 500 level, right? So I was actually fortunate enough to catch it from this 138, I think it was like 700 level or something like that, and then I caught it to like 140. Bong, no more. I did not need to enter the cells. Actually, it would have been greedy to enter the cells, right? So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and, right, now I'm curious and I'm interested to see how price, kind of reacts to this zone, right? So if we look at this 140 level, we can see that we have multiple rejections. Price, gave us this beautiful spinning top, just indicating that price is getting exhausted at that level. So, what I'm looking to see what would happen. I'm not going to, force anything right here, because I am looking to see if the dollar index will go up, right? So you guys see how I have this right here. So let me copy this and I'll paste that somewhere else, right? So literally what I would be expecting doesn't need to be this entire move, right? But, if we were to have something, let's see. It's a definite, at least it's 138, because that's like the weekly low level, right? So we might get this push back up to this level right here. So I'd be monitoring to see how price reacts when we get to this level. And that should align, properly with the dollar index and, a few other things that I have, that I'm visually looking at, right? So looking at GJ, right? So if you guys are not understanding what's going on with GJ, right? So where are we at right now in GJ? Okay, so last week or whatever like that, GJ, I was actually speaking about it being around our November levels from like a couple years ago. We've fucking blown right past that. I do not know what's going to happen with GJ, right? So if you just look at this, look at how many weeks we've had bullish momentum. This is a weekly candle. So from here, so since December, literally, actually, let's go a little bit further. From the first week of November, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We've had 17 straight weeks of bullish momentum on GJ. I am not going to, even go ahead and look at the pair. If you are able to look at the retracements and then catch it on the smaller time frames and just hop in the buy, then you should be good. So I'm gonna stay away from that, but we'll move forward to USD Cad real quick, right? So USD Cad, I actually see this, kind of shooting up. And I actually not hoping, but if this does happen, then we should actually get some great momentum, right? So let's go ahead and bust it down to a 4-hour time frame, right? So when price got down to these levels previously, we can see that price literally had this beautiful push up. So from here, you had all of this clean traffic of about, 265 pips. Granted, this was literally like monthly close up last week. This was the pretty much the last week of February, approaching monthly candle close as well. That's why we had all that bullish momentum. But what I am interested in taking a look at and potentially seeing is if we could have this push back up to this 126, 200, 126, 200 level, right? So I'll wait to see. I'm wanting to price action on the smaller time frames. If I'm looking at the dojis, whether it be dojis, hammers, gravestone dojis, spinning bottoms, twos of bottoms, so on and so forth. Just make sure that you have your familiar and favored pairs that you like to look at, right? The other thing we're going to take a look at is EU, right? So not EU, EA, right? So EA, just been pretty much, I wouldn't say milking them, but whatever happens. Now what we can see is that we've actually have found some type of support around this 153, call it 155, 153 500 level to 153 700 level, right? So what I'm interested in seeing once again is if we can go ahead and have another push back, pull back to the downside, and then I'd be interested in taking a long all the way back up to this upside of 155 500. And this should go along with the fact that if I'm looking at AU shorts, then obviously I should be looking at EA longs. Everything doesn't move, inversely correlated, but just factoring in everything else that we are looking at, right? So you can delete that sell thing right there. So I'd be interested in more of a trade like this to the upside, just being careful of the fact that we have all these wicks right here, no real candle closures, but you have multiple rejections right here. So there's something to keep an eye out with, right? Gold, right? So if you Rocco, relax. If you look at gold on the daily time frame right here, right, you can see that you got this nice, this looks like a hanging man, if I'm being honest, right? So price could literally on this daily candle 4 hour could pull all the way back to 1700 and take out everyone that they have in their buy positions, right? Or what we could do, we could just wait and see what happens. So what I'm potentially going to do is, if you guys look at this 4 hour candle, I actually had this over here. This was a short that I had taken. I took a buy earlier in the week. I don't know if you guys saw me post that, but I was anticipating the short as well, right? So what I didn't do, though, I didn't catch the buy back at 1700 because I was already done trading for the week. But we're looking at this on the smaller time frame, bullish momentum. Price could push all the way back up to the 1740 before pulling back down, but I'm just going to kind of wait to see what price does, either, at this level, or if price returns down to this, 1700 or so, right? So I'm only interested in these levels on gold in between, nothing more. And with that being said, that will be the Forex Fargo weekly webinar from March 14th, 2021, all the way through March 19th, 2021. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share the channel. Make sure that you like it so the YouTube algorithm can help. And I will make sure that, I will drop some more videos later on this week. And I actually have a couple things lined up, right? So we'll see you guys in the next one. Happy trading and stay blessed.